How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to get that imagination all revved up, get into some creativity, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Pierre Alary. I believe I'm saying that right. Alary? Let me know. Comments down below. I love his work. It's really, really wonderful. It reminds me a lot of the work that I've seen of Luyen Pham. I believe that's how you say it. Just a really interesting, more European kind of graphic novel style, but he's got a kind of a, I know that he worked with Disney for a while too, so you see like a lot of those elements infused in his work as well. But I just really love the way that his unique style. It's like I said, there's really not anyone who's exactly like him, and that's what I love in particular. You know, the way that he inks his stuff or draws his stuff, it's just very unique, and I love it. Great expressions, great posing, really interesting cuts in his panels. I love this stuff. It's just so great. Really expressive posing and great facial expressions. I love that each and every one of his characters' different faces kind of has a different structure behind it, which is really interesting as well. It's not, if you draw a lot of faces, you can find that you kind of get into a rhythm of kind of how you draw faces, or if you look at like a lot of the like Disney books of how to draw the face, and then you have you do the circle with the other circle across and the line, and you kind of get this formula for it. But I feel like with Pierre's work, each and every one kind of has its own unique anatomy, which is really interesting. You can see it's kind of reminds me a little bit of Steven Silver's work as well. A little less based on the shapes though than he does, but he kind of has that feel to it as well, where there's kind of a different overall shape for each one of the heads, which is really interesting. So I really urge you guys to check out his stuff. I don't think he gets nearly enough credit or enough publicity or enough high praise from the illustration, animation, and comic book world as he should. But just wonderful, wonderful stuff. I really like this one because of its simplicity. I think the way that he lays out the shot with the ship being way up in the corner just creates a really interesting perspective and great coloring, because really the information is maybe, what would that be, like a 16th of the page has like really the bulk of the information. The rest of it is just kind of mood for that information, and I thought that was really an interesting choice. You know, because you could look at this and you could cut it so, let's see if I can zoom in, so it would be, if this was the whole panel, ship in the middle of it, or you could do it so that you know, it's looking like the ship's sailing off this way or just coming into view. We could crop it this way, but the way that he did it with the ship being all the way up at the top, very small in the distance, just adds a really nice ambiance and layout too. And I really like the way that the waves and the sky and the clouds complement each other too. Great color choices. I suck at color. He's so wonderful at it. So great stuff, great stuff. Let's go take a quick look at the amazing quote that I was able to find from his work. And he said, "I try to put aside the desire for perfection." Oof, that's like one of those ones that just punches you in the stomach. I think anyone who is involved in anything that uses creativity or imagination, I guess this is coming more anecdotally, but it seems to be something from the people that I've talked to and friends that I know and everything, that you have this desire for everything to be just perfect, and to be okay with that not focusing on that is very difficult, I think. So I think it's important, because when you put aside the desire for perfection, you allow yourself to learn and to grow more, because you're just doing it to get as much out of it and learn as much as you can and push yourself as far as you can. And if it's not perfect, that's okay. Or if you're going for perfection, you're probably a little bit more afraid to take big steps or big leaps or anything like that. You want to just put it right in that same place. So I think that's a good attitude in thought process to have, a difficult one to put into place. So let's go ahead and get into some animation. This is the Faceless Void rig. It's a free rig from the Dota 2 collection. It's on Steam. I'll throw a link in the description below if you guys want to play around with this one as well. And if you're not familiar with what we'll be doing for the rest of the video, I go off and I find a rig that I've never used before. It's a free resource for you guys to play around with. And we kind of go from there. Give ourselves around 48 frames, a little bit of over the shoulder, hang out with you while I animate, a little bit of talking through the process. But mainly, the big goal of doing these videos each and every day is to hopefully encourage you guys and inspire you to take another step in your journey, to go off and create something. Use your imagination, use your creativity as much as you can, push it as far as you can, take another step. You can do it. I love you guys. Let's get animating. All right. I am in kind of a zen mood today, so I had something come up in real life that normally would probably put me in a horrible mood, but I decided to handle it a different way, and I think that was probably a good thing, or definitely a growth moment for me in the way that I handled that. So I think that probably means that I'll be in a little bit more of a, I don't know if silly or fun or goofy or just energetic mood today, but hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day today too, or if you're not, you find a way to get yourself into a good mood, because you can't control life no matter what, but you can control how you react and how you respond to things. So I was thinking for this one I want to kind of do something reminiscent of one of my favorite movies, which is Pan's Labyrinth. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing. It's that along with probably Spirited Away. When I first saw that, two really influential movies, to me at least, that really got me excited and enthusiastic to get my imagination cranked up more as an adult than as a child. And let's go ahead. So anyways, the kind of the idea that I'm going for is, if you haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth, there's a really cool scene where I don't want to give too much away. Just go watch the movie. It's really cool. But the main goal is one of the creatures that's in that movie has his eyes on his palms. You may have just seen that imagery, so I was thinking we could do something kind of along those lines with at least stretching the hands out and having them kind of reach forward. So a little bit of kind of a, I guess, kind of a zombie kind of a walk with the hands outstretched. And not really like grasping at something though, really just stretching out and forward. And I think we'll do a cycle. We did kind of a longer one yesterday, and try to vary the timing a little bit so that we don't have long ones every day, but some days are a little bit shorter. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what comes of doing these rigs, and I think we'll push the hands out a little bit further as well. And what do you think? We should arch the back up, or should we hunch it in a little bit more? I think we'll hunch it in a little bit more. Don't need a lot, but I always try to touch at least the main controllers so that they're not in the default kind of T-pose. If you're not familiar with the term T-pose, it's usually when you get a rig, the arms are outstretched to the sides, which I can't really do in my small office here, and the body's pretty much in the shape of a T, really. So it's straight up with the arms out. So I try to vary as much as I can. And again, these are quicker videos. We try to get 48 frames done within an hour, so there's only so much polish we can really do and so many things we can really hit each and every time. There we go. Zoom that up a little bit more. And we'll go ahead and rotate that back a little bit. raise that up or out just a little bit more to get our silhouette a little bit clearer. And same there. And going to tilt it just a little bit more. Just so we can get that little bit of silhouette in there. Maybe I like it better. Go ahead, push that out. Because I kind of like the idea of the hand being more like that. So maybe that'll work better. Okay, so let's get started here. Just want to make sure we have our NURB curves, NURB surfaces, and polygons selected. Let's go ahead and set our frame range, which I think will probably end up being more like 60 frames because I want to have it be a slow walk. But let's just start somewhere. So let's grab everything, make sure and save our file. We are using Autodesk Maya 2014 for today's video. For more information on that and all the stuff that we talk about so far and talk about every day, and a couple recommendations for good books if you're just starting out in animation, check out the links in the description down below. And let's go ahead and set our first key. So grab everything, hit S on our keyboard, and let's get stomping here. So I think I want to do slower steps, so I'm going to go 14s here. And I think I'm going to have them stutter, so we'll probably hold for a few frames. And then, what would that be? 49, 56. So I guess we'll go 56. I was thinking it would be more 60. But that was when I was thinking more. We were doing 10 frames per, and this would be 14. For some reason I was shortening it in my head rather than lengthening. Because we want it to be slower. I feel like you should take slow, more methodical steps here. So let's see. Maybe we could even go slower. I'm going to go 16s. Really push this thing slow. Yeah, let's try it. Worst comes to worst, we'll just go back. So grab everything, push it a couple more frames. And then I think I want to really hold for at least 2 frames before each next step. And we're going to go 16 frames from there, so that would be 56, 64 for our last one here. And push that off there. Okay, so let's see now. Okay. So let's hold for 2 frames on either side. So let's see. Yeah, I think that'll work. And so let's go ahead and lock in all our main keys. We're just going to hit S on our keyboard to make sure we're keying all of our attributes where we need them. And let's start building this thing. So let's go at 8, and we're going to raise that foot up, and then it'll come down. And we'll go to this side. And raise that up. Then it'll go down. Then it'll go to the next side. Raise that up, and I'll go down. And maybe I hold for maybe 4 frames is too long, but we'll see. See if that works. So let's see. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay. So let's do a little bit of up and down on the chest here. And I'm going to stick pretty much with typical up and down here. So we go up on the passing position and down on the contact. And then back again. Let's see. Alright. Let's balance that out a little bit more. I feel like it should go down a little bit more to begin with, but not as far down as we have some of those later ones going. So let's tip those a little bit more. And bring that. Let's see. it's still too much, maybe we'll tone it down a little bit more, both the up and the down. Okay, and let's do a little bit of rotate Y to favor the front planted foot. The other side here, the other side here, the other side there, and then back again. Okay, and we could probably tone that down a little bit. We're going to offset it the chest, but I'm okay with it being a little bit over exaggerated. And let's do a little bit of push over the planted foot. And back. And let's look at our translate X. I'll scale it back. I really don't need a lot of that, just a little bit. Let's do the hiccups. Alright, so let's see how we're doing. Feels okay. And let's look here, and let's do a little bit of rotate Y to offset what we did with the hips there. This is probably too much, so I'll scale it back, but let's see. Yeah, beginning at least feels a little too much. I think towards the end we got it a little bit more towards what I was thinking. So, cut that down here. And what do we have? A little bit over like that. Try and balance it out a little bit more. And let's see. Feels better. Let's do a little bit of rotate Z here. So it tilts over the planted foot. And then back. And we'll balance that out. Bring that back. Bring that back. Okay. And we'll do a little bit on the chest to offset it as well. Obviously this is way more than we need, so we'll scale it back. And let's look at that. Let's see. Okay, and let's do a little bit of up and down on the hands as well. Let's go 4, so it'll be like down there, and then maybe 8 frames from here, be up, down, and as you can tell we do have the hands in IK, which normally I would keep them in FK, but I don't think there's a switch on here, and I like this rig enough to not let that stop me from getting in here. I'll just put a little bit of movement in there. Alright, way too much. You just want a little bit of looseness from there. And obviously the last one we need to overshoot a little bit. Bring that up. Bring that up. Let's see how that feels. Let's raise it universally up a little bit more. Take all those downs. And bring it up a little bit more. Let's see how we're doing. we started. And again, we don't need a lot of this, just a little bit. We'll scale that back a little bit more. Let's see how that feels. I feel like we need to do more on this one a little bit. It's close. Let's see. Okay. Let's just look at each one individually here and tone it down. Because I want it to feel loose, but not too loose. Still want it to keep. Feels a little better. Okay, let's look at this one. Let's balance that up a little bit more. So it's kind of doing what they call moving hold, where we have a little bit of movement in there, but it's really holding the same pose there. Maybe we'll do a little bit of back and forth there too. We'll do a little bit forward and back. And let's see. Alright, let's move on to something else for right now, because I'm still kind of processing how I want to do that. I don't feel like it's working so great just yet. Let's make these steps a little bit harder, so let's go 2 frames from it, and we'll lift it up. And 2 frames from it, and we'll lift it up. Okay, so we get more of a pound down on those steps. This one feels like it's still pushing forward too much. It feels like it's pulling back. Okay, let's look here, see if we can do a little bit of rotation. And rotate it down there. And then slap it down. So I can drag it back here, lift it up. Actually, other side. We'll rotate that down, lift it up here, and 1 frame, so it's really hitting hard. We've got that 2-frame drop in translation, and then a 1-frame slap down, which I usually would give 2 frames, but I want them to feel heavier like they're heavier steps here. Alright, rotate that up there. 0 up there. And drag it back there. So let's watch it now. Maybe we'll have it go. Do a little jut out. So let's get rid of the translate Z's for right now. Push it out. Back a little bit. Hold it. For a few frames. And then go back. I want to overshoot that back a little bit more too. So let's see that now. Too much overshoot. And I think let me give a couple more frame padding towards the end. Let's see. Alright, let's look at the other side. And then this one will hit our furthest about there. Overshoot and hold for a little bit. And that there. Let's see how that feels. I feel like I want to hold them for a couple more frames. So let's try that. Yeah, let's delay this one on everything by a frame. Yeah, let's push this one further forward. And then maybe we won't have them pull in so much universally. Go out a little bit more. Okay, let's add a little more variety. Let's push this one forward a frame. Okay, now let's grab all of the fingers here. And something that's workable now. Now I just want to tweak these poses a little bit more. So just do a little bit of tweaking with this stuff. Hold that a little bit tighter. And let's rotate this one in a little bit more. Set that there. I'll have it hit at about 37. Okay. Let's set that, delete this. This should hit at about 35 then. Okay, so we know we like that. Let's go ahead and delete this, and get here, and set that 35. And take our rotate X's, we'll just lightly overshoot that a little bit. Okay, now let's look at this one a little more in depth. That's okay. But this needs to be more. Let's tweak it a little bit. Do something more like that. Bring that back. Delete that one. Delete that one. Hold that for a few more frames. Let's see. Okay, and let's look at this one. Do a little bit of tweaking here with our posing. Rotate it so it's a little more like that. Delete this one. This will give us a little bit of variety as well. takes a little too long, so let's go about 2 frames less there. Oh, 1 frame more. Alright, and let's grab all of the mids and tips, and we'll delay those a frame, and then all of the tips, and we'll delay those a frame as well. That should give us a little more variety. I feel like we need to do this move a little bit sooner so it kind of flows with, and that goes in, so this should be actually about 3 frames sooner. And then maybe we can ease in there a little bit more. Okay, and let's take everything on this one and we'll push it forward a frame, and everything on this one and we'll delay it a frame. And let's see. Okay, let's look at the other hand now. Now on this pose, I want to tweak that a little bit more. It's a little more like that. And this one should be a little more like that. Delete that one. Hold that for a few more frames. Let's see how that feels. And this needs to hit about 36. It's a little bit faster. A couple frames sooner. Okay, let's look at this one. Let's rotate that a little bit more. Or something like that. It's pretty close. Let's tweak it a little bit more. Delete that one, bring it back there. Let's see how that tips and mids. I'll delay those a frame. And then all tips. I'll delay those a frame. Take everything on this pinky. I'll delay it a frame. Everything on this index. And we'll push it forward a frame. That should give us a little more variation. Let's take everything. Let's leave it. Okay. Should actually be a couple frames behind here. Give ourselves a couple more frames to get out of there. Let's look at these tips here. We'll delay those a frame. Delay that one more frame just so I get a little more variation. And delay that a frame. Look at the jaw, and let's make it look like he's muttering something. So let's go ahead and go there, there, there. Leave it open for a few frames. Bring it back closed. And go back to where we were. So let's see. Now I want to keep it closed for a little bit longer. Kind of anticipate this a little bit more. Not take too long to get up there. Then overshoot. That one in and kind of hold it for a little bit longer. And overshoot into there. So let's see. Maybe not as much open. Go a little bit more shut. And let's tone those mutters in the beginning down a little bit more. We'll throw one more in there, just for good measure. Still keep some variety there. Still takes too long, so let's cut it one more frame. Push it open a little bit more. And push it forward a frame. feels like it should be 1 frame sooner. Okay, let's do a little bit of up and down as well. See how well those match up. Probably delay it a frame, but that way we can loosen the jaw up a little bit more by doing not just rotate, but actually some translate in there. And then let's go here. Do hold there, hold here. Let's see. For right now, I'm trying to match it up 1 for 1. Let's look at our translate lines again. So we've got that's a down, that's an up, that's a down. We'll minimize these as well. They don't need to be as big. Do you think that this one might be too far down? So let's see. Alright, let's look at the head. Let's do a little bit of rotate Y there. 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 Or try to keep it focused forward a little bit more. I don't need a lot of this, but a little bit. Just so we have a little bit of looseness in there. And let's go look at that now. Okay, and let's look here. Let's do a little bit of rotate Y there, there, and there, and back again. Okay, just so we get a little bit of sway in there. And let's look at the next 2 portions. And we'll do those at the beginning. A little bit that way. A little bit that way. A little bit that way. That way. And then back again. And that actually needs to be probably about 4 frames later. this one, and this one will go back to 8s. So we'll swing out here. And 24, let's swing that way. 42, let's swing that way. 56, that way, and back again. Okay, and maybe we'll tone it down just a little bit and amp it up a little bit more in the section right above it. Let's see that now. Yeah, let's tone down this one a little bit more. Balance it out a little bit better. And let's look at, set those there, go down. Okay, forget that. Let's look at the, maybe we'll leave it. And maybe we'll do a little bit of tilt in the head. Back again. And only a little bit of that. Let's see how that looks now. I think that works. You can definitely play around with this for another hour or so, but I think we're hit about our hour mark. So let's take a look back at where we started. We're looking at the beautiful work of Pierre Alary. Alary? You'll have to let me know down in the comments down below. And I try to put aside the desire for perfection. It's such a great goal. Really difficult to stay loose, and I think that's something that you'll notice if you do a lot of illustration and everything. If you try to tighten down your line work, a lot of times you lose a lot of the life that's in your original sketch. And same goes with the animation. As you start to really tighten and get on 1s and 2s, a lot of times you can lose some of the life that's in there. And it's all that balance of being able to let things go but still try and be a master of your craft as much as you can. And the main goal is just to take another step each day, to not strive and kill yourself for trying to be perfect, but just letting yourself grow and strive to learn to get better, not necessarily perfect all the time, because if you're doing that, then you can't complain each and every day, you know? So I love you guys lots. You're amazing. I hope you take another step in your journey towards mastering whatever medium it is that you're passionate about, and I think we'll wrap it up for today. So thanks for all the likes and subscribes. We will see you for some more animation tomorrow.